Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will continue with our course that is about investment and portfolio management. The course code is MGT 531. Today's lecture is lecture number 22. And first of all, I will give the summary of the previous lecture. In the last lecture, we did the stock analysis. We did the process of stock valuation and also models about the discounted dividend. And as far as discounted dividend models are concerned, we did 3 models over there. First is about zero growth DDM, second is about constant growth DDM, and third is multi-stage DDM. And the reference study is the same as we have been doing in the last lecture, that is by Christina. It was conducted in 2010 and it was about the investment and portfolio management. And what we will today the contents of today's lecture comprises of price earning ratio, which is abbreviated as PER, decision making for investment in stocks, category of stocks, and these categories includes blue chip stocks, income stocks, cyclical stocks, defensive stocks, growth stocks, speculative stocks, and penny stocks. Therefore, we can say that there are a number of stocks and stock categories, and we can categorize our stocks in a number of ways. In other words, we can say that we keep our investment, we make our investment as a investors, as a rational investor in these different types of stocks, in order to be able to optimize our decision about investment and to have maximum returns out of our investment in the future time period. What is price earning ratio, which is known as PER? Observed price earning ratio, PER. Prices of the stock and earnings measures from which observed PERs are derived are publicly available. So we can say that prices of the stocks and earnings of the stocks, they can be measured with the help of PERs, and they are derived from the PERs, and these are publicly available. Earnings per share are observed are estimates of analysts, and also we can say that for one share the earnings are the observations, and as well as these can be the estimates of the analyst and the observers. The observed PERs for a firm and for a group of firms and for an industry of the index derive directly from such data. And PERs, what PERs are? Basically, PERs can be utilized as an index and can be derived from the data which we can have and which we can obtain from the observations and from the functioning of the firms, from the functioning of a group of firms which are known as corporation, and from the functioning of an industry. And once we have industry, the data of all these corporations and organizations, we can derive the index, and this index can help us for the overall analysis of the situation. Further analyzing the concept, what should be the PER according to the analyst might differ from observed PER. That is, what can be the difference between the PER and observed PER. Basically, this is the price earning ratio. PER stands for price earning ratio. It is important to make a distinction between observed PER with normative, or what the PER should be. And therefore we can say what is the difference. We have to find out, we have to analyze, and we have to clarify this concept, that what can be the possible difference between the observed price earning ratio and normative price earning ratio, which can be indicated by PER steric. And normative price earning ratio or normative PER steric indicates basically what should be the level of price earning ratio, and observed tells us that what is the actual observation, what is the actual situation that we can study, that we can observe, that we can read about the real situation. Price earning ratio, PER, and PER steric, which is the normative, basically normative observation, is equal to V over PES naught. And what the PER steric is, it is normative price earning ratio. V indicates intrinsic value of the stock, that what is the intrinsic value of the stock, what is the actual value of the stock, what is the hidden value of the stock. And definitely intrinsic value of the stock is something for which it can be evaluated, or the value can be measured. Therefore, we can say that V, or the intrinsic value of the stock, indicates that what is the original value of any stock. And what EPS naught is? It is the earning per share for last period. So we can say that it is the earning per share. EPS indicates that the share of the earning for for one share. And overall we can say that it is basically the ratio of the earning for one share in the total earnings for all the shares. Investors might consider that PER steric, which is the normative PER that should apply to the firm of which stock value has to be estimated and should be in line with examined firms selected at the industry on average. So therefore we can say that the PER steric that is applied to the firm and of which stock value is estimated should be in line with the examined firm and for the industry on average. And when we see the average situation. And what is the decision making for investment in stocks? That is when we have to make the decisions about investment in stock, when we are going to do investments and when we are going to plan the purchasing for the investments. Using the PER, how we can do and what the decision can be made in actual situation when we have the tool PER, or in other words we can say that when we have PER as a tool which is known as price earning ratio. If PER steric is greater than PER observed, decision to buy or to keep the stock because it is undervalued. In other words, we can say that when actual value of the PER steric is greater than the observed value. In simple words, we can say that what the earning ratio PER, what the price earning ratio should be, is greater than what it is in actual situation and is being observed from the actual situation. It is decision to buy or to keep the stock because it is under evaluated. So we can say because the stock is under evaluated. This situation remains when the stock is under evaluated. If PER steric is less than PER, that is when we can say that when actual as far as the what the price earning ratio should be is less than what we are observing. In other words, we can say that in actual what is the price earning ratio is higher as compared to what it should be. What we can have in actual or according to the real intrinsic value of the any share. So we can say that decision to sell the stock because it is overvalued. This is basically the situation when we find evaluated and overvaluated any price earning ratio, and this we can say definitely it is appealing situation for the investor, and he will try to and he should plan to send his assets. If both are equal, if both terms are equal, that is PER steric is equal to PER, so we can say stock is valuated at the same rate as in the market. So we can say that whatever is the value of intrinsic value of the stock is basically evaluated in the market at the same rate and is likely to, and stock is likely to giving us the same price earning ratio. Continuing with the discussion about investment, the decision making for investment in stocks. In this case, the decision depends on the additional observations of investors. That we can say that what the decisions investor is likely to make, it decides to make, depends upon additional observation of investor. That what is the additional observation? There are remarkable variations of PERs across firms and industries. So there, as far as the industries are concerned and firms are concerned, so we can say that investors, as the investor industries and the firms, they can observe and they find a remarkable and a significant difference and variation of the price earning ratios. This is because PERs are a synthetic measure combining all effects of different equity value drivers, growth, profitability and risk. And we can say price earning ratio are synthetic measures, and we combine all different equities values and what these drivers are, the comprises of growth and profitability and risk. That what is the level of the growth associated with the any type investment, what is the growth in the prices and gain out of the investment, what is the profitability level, how much we can earn as a profit, and what is the risk associated. PER is increasing, then the profitability of the firm and its growth rates are increasing. So we can say that price earning ratio increases the profitability of the firm and profitability of the assets we are as an investor are likely to own, are likely to have in our portfolios. Their growth rates also increases. So these are very important concepts. These are very interesting concepts which are likely to guide the individual in order to make further investment and in order to analyze their existing investment, that what they have kept in their portfolio and on what item their portfolio is comprising of. Therefore we can say that growth is one important issue which is concerned with the value of these ratios, and profitability is another, risk is another one. So we can say if we compute these PERs, combining these different effects, growth is one, profitability is one, is the second, and the risk is the third one. So we can say profitability of the firm and growth rate, they are increasing over time, and PER is decreasing, then the risk of firm is increasing. So we can say how the PER, what is the basically the reasons for the variation in PER, how the PER changes, and basically we can say that growth is the one important factor as we discussed and growth, if profitability is another important factor, third is the risk one. And if we say that if the profitability is increasing, and if we say that if the assets are growing more and the prices are growing and we are likely to gain more in terms of our investment, we can say that PER will increase, and on other hand we can say risk will decrease. So conversely we can say if PER is likely to decrease, then we can say that risk is likely to increase. That is, the increase in the PER is likely to decrease the risk, and decrease in PER indicate that risk is likely to increase. Interest rates are correlated with inverse of PER, and because PER increases when risk-free rates decreases. And continuing with the discussion, we can say that interest rate is likely to have inverse relationship with the price earning ratio. That is, we can say because the PER increases when risk-free rate decreases, and we can say PER decreases when risk-free rates increases. So we can say that the interest rate has negative relationship or inverse type of relationship with the price earning ratio. And the other alternative multiples used for stock evaluation by the investors include, we can say that what are the other important multiples which can be used for the stock valuation by the investors. They are, for example, sales per market capitalization of the firm. In other words, we can say that the ratio of the sale to the market capitalization of the firm, and we can say that the second, the ratio of the sale to the equity value. Thirdly, we can say market capitalization and the book value of the equity ratio, that is the ratio of market capitalization to the book value of the equity. These are the alternative multiple used in order to evaluate the stocks which investor has in his portfolio, or then can decide further in future to keep in the portfolio. So then keeping with discussion, we can say these alternative multiples are used when earnings are not representative. So why these multiples are used? The reason is to use the multiple alternatives because earnings are not, when the earnings are not representative, that is when the earning cannot represent the situation, and whether the investors do not guide the investors properly, whether they should increase their investment in these particular assets, they should invest more in these assets, or do not invest more. We can say that alternative multiples are used for to fulfill and to obtain similar objective. Example could be the high growth firms with negative net income, negative EPS, and actual stock price irrelevant uses. So how we can say that what are the examples, what are the indicators of these multiples? These are high growth internet firms with negative net income, जिनकी income negative होती है, negative EPS, and holding actual stock price irrelevant usage. When using these multiples, investors usually consider what they consider when they try to invest in these multiples. So what is the basically the logic to use these different multiples, and what are the reasons to use these, consider these multiples by the investors? That the PER tariff that should apply to the firm of which stock value has to be estimated should be in line with peer firms selected are for the industry on average. So what is the reason that these multiples should be in line with the price earning ratio tariff, which that is the what should be the price earning ratio of the any firm of any industry on average or of the stock value. This has to be estimated and should be in line with peer firms selected or industry average. In this section, we review the important principles behind the stock selection process that are relevant in the information and management of the stock. So we can say that the important principles and rules that lie behind stock selection process, that what items, what stock should be selected by the investor, should be basically chosen by the investor. So we can say the process with the help of which the investor, they choose their items to be invested, they choose the nature of the stocks to be kept in the portfolio and to be the part of portfolio process. And we can say these are relevant in the formation and management of the stock portfolio, and these are very much important part of the management of the portfolio stock. And we focus on the explanation of the principal categories of common stock. That is, we should explain the different categories and basic categories of common stock, especially the investment characteristics that make a category of stock suitable for one portfolio but not for the another. So we can say, and on the other hand, we can say that the investment characteristics, they are important for any category, and they make any category of the stock suitable and to be invested, to be chosen, to be preferred for one portfolio, but they are not for the other portfolio. And why this happens and why this is so? Because investment characteristics, they are important, and investment characteristics, they have relationship with these selection of different categories of the stocks and to be kept in the portfolio investment. What these investment characteristics are, basically these are the if you look at the situation and our discussion previously that we have done, we know that investment is important. Is an important characteristic of investment too is to have the important sources of the funds, that is the proper sources to be used as a source of fund to purchase different items in the portfolio, to purchase different stocks and different types of stocks as a portfolio. And when we look at these things, and basically, and also the interest of the individual investor, the company and the guide of the individual investors, and we can say that the information available to him or his previous experience, and all these things are very much important, which determine and which highlight the characteristics of investment. And in the light of these characteristics, we can say that one type of stock or one category of stock can be suitable and should be included, should be purchased for portfolio of the one person, and but should not be included in the portfolio of the other person. What are the mostly used categories of the stock? The first is blue chip stock. We have a number of different categories of the stock here. First is blue chip stock, second is income stock, third is cyclical stock, fourth is defensive stock, fifth is growth stock, sixth is speculative stock, and the last one is penny stock. So we can say there are number of basically the categories of the stocks which can be purchased, which can be kept, which can be decided to make them as a part of the portfolio of any individual. The first of all is the blue chip stock. The blue chip stock is the best known of all categories of the stock presented above. So what is the nature of basically blue chip stock? We can say that this is one of the important stock which is important for all the categories of the stock presented above, and then it should be preferred, should be chosen as the optimal decision by all the investors who want to purchase this particular type of the stock. And the reason is because it is important of all stocks and all categories. These stocks represent the best known firms among the investment community. So we can say that the firms are the investors who are likely to purchase these stocks, who are likely to keep this particular stock in the portfolio, and to keep particular stock in the portfolio are basically represent the best known firms among the investment community or investment area and field. But it is difficult to define exactly this category of the stock, because in most cases blue chip stock are presented using the examples of the firm. So how it is difficult to exactly define this category, and how then what is the problem which is making this category as a difficult to be defined properly as a part of stock, because in most cases we can say blue chip is known as the example of the firm, and we can say these are the best known firms. So therefore we cannot make clear that what type of the or category of the stock this blue chip belongs. One common definition of blue chip company is that this company has long continuous history of dividend payments. So we can say that what important reason of the and logic behind the blue chip company is that this company has long period history of dividend payments, and is likely to earn an important payments out of this investment, and out of choosing this category as a part of the portfolio, and by the decision makers. For example, continuing with the discussion, we can say that the Coca-Cola has history of dividend payments and more than for 100 years. Coca-Cola is so back years example of this blue chip, that it has a history of divided payments more than 1 year, that since more than 1 years the companies and the firm and the industry is working to make the Coca-Cola, to manufacturing and to produce Coca-Cola. They are supplying this to the consumers in the market, and at reasonable rates with the quality product, and definitely is likely to have a proper stream of the record of the dividend payments among the investors and among the shareholders, and are then towards we can say payment towards only single investor if there is only single investor. But it does not mean that the younger successful companies running business for some decades and paying dividend cannot be characterized as blue chip in the specific investment portfolio. And we can say that beside Coca-Cola there may be number of other blue chip companies, or a number of the other firms, a number of the other industries which are working so good, and which have been working so good quality, and they have produced so quality product which has been always preferred by the individuals and by the consumers for the reasonable prices, and it has a record. There may be other products which has a record of a long time period to provide the successful and quality product to the consumers. So they can be, and they provide the dividend payments to the investors, to the group of investors. Therefore we can say they can be characterized as blue chip in the specific investment environment. From the other side, many high quality stocks do not meet the criteria of uninterrupted dividend history. So on the other hand, we can say that many other quality and high quality stocks do not meet the criteria of the dividend history, and it depends upon the situation, it depends upon the type of investment and the nature of and the interest of the investors and the group of investors who are doing and who are interested in any particular investment. Continuing with the discussion, we can say that it is a practice that the brokerage firm recommends to their clients. Individual investors the list of blue chip stock as high quality ones in their understanding based on the analysis of information about the firm. And the income stocks are the stocks the earnings of which are mainly in the form of dividend income as opposed to the capital gains. So what the income stocks are, which is the another type of important capital stock and important stock in which the investment can be made, is known as the income stocks. These are the stocks earning of which are mainly in the form of dividend income as opposed to the capital gain. It is considered a conservative, dependable investment suitable to supplement other income. So we can say it is a sort of conservative and dependable investment that is basically suitable to the to supplement and to support the other incomes and the other sources of the income. So we can say that with the help of this we can have some other sources of the income, and which can basically which can be helpful to the investor and to the earner in order to to be a source of funding for the further investment and to meet the expenditures. Well-established corporations with the consistent record of paying dividends are usually considered income stock, and those corporations which have a long history of well-establishment and long history of producing good, having good basically the record of proper portfolio holdings, and these stocks they provide their dividend to in the form of the income stock. In addition, income stocks usually are those that historically have paid a larger than average percentage of their net income after taxes as dividend to the shareholders, and pay out ratio for these companies are high. Income stocks they also indicate that the corporations are number of the shareholders or number of investors who have invested jointly. They when they produce or they supply their assets or stock to the market, they earn the profit on it, they earn the income on it, they pay the taxes, they divide the dividend among number of investors, among number of shareholders, and therefore we can say payout for these companies are high. Continuing with the discussion, we can say that we have the most common example of income stocks are stock of public utilities such as telecommunication companies and electrical companies. These two types of companies provide the important and significant examples for the income stock. Then we have another type of the category which can be used as investment in the stock and to keep in and to decide to keep in and purchase for the portfolio of the investors. These are cyclical stocks. What are cyclical stocks? These are the securities that go up and down in value with the trends of business and economy, and rising faster in the period of rapidly improving business conditions and sliding very noticeably when business conditions deteriorate. During a recession they do poorly, and the term cyclically does not imply that these stocks are more predictable than other stocks. That these stocks are more predictable than the other stocks, and if we look at the situation, we can say that these are basically type of the business cycle, and these cyclical changes are the observations, and cyclical fluctuation they show is a change which is like a business cycle. For example, we can say that we have movements, we are moving upward, and this upward movement indicates that we are moving towards the positive direction. We are basically showing an improvement in the situation, and economic variables they are showing positive behavior and improving behavior, and we reach at the peak situation over here. This is known as peak, and this indicates that the stock or the situation is rising faster, is growing faster, and showing the improvement in the business condition, and basically they represent the favorable business environment and favorable environment to earn the income. Then some deterioration types of things they arises over here, and some factor arises which harms and which suffer the situation, and they slide down the business cycle and slide down the economy along the business cycle. And what these conditions may be, these conditions basically bring the business downward, and in this way we can face the reduction in the demand may be one important reason to bring down the economic situation, to bring down the economy. So reduction in the demand for the stocks, for example here for the goods, reduction in demand for goods and reduction in demand for services for the stock here. जब डिमांड कम हो जाती है, when demand falls, तो डेफिनेटली जो है वो सप्लाई भी कम हो जाती है. इसकी वजह से सप्लाई जो है वो भी कम होती है. जब सप्लाई कम हो जाती है तो वी कैन से डेफिनेटली इट हार्म्स द सिचुएशन, और इसकी प्राइसेस जो है वो एक्सपेंसिव हो जाएंगी. चीज़ें एक्सपेंसिव हो जाएंगी, प्राइसेस जो है उसकी वजह से बढ़ जाएंगी. जब प्राइसेस बढ़ती हैं तो डेफिनेटली गुड जो है इट बिकम्स एक्सपेंसिव टू बी परचेज, एंड इसकी डिमांड जो होती है इसलिए कम हो जाती है बिकॉज इट इज़ नॉट एबल टू बी परचेज, एंड कंज्यूमर दे कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू परचेज दिस प्रोडक्ट. एंड व्हाट हैपन्स, जब डिमांड इसके बाद कम होगी तो इट विल लीड टू रिड्यूस द सप्लाई अगेन, एंड दिस साइकिल कंटिन्यूज. और जब ये साइकिल कंटिन्यू रहता है तो वी कैन से दैट the business cycle is working, and this is also known as cyclical cycle. So we can say that cyclical stocks are those type of stocks which indicate the ups and downs in their values and in their trends of the business and economy. Sometimes they indicate positive trends, sometimes they indicate downward fluctuations, and increase and the growth, positive growth or upward growth of these stocks, they indicate that the economy is improving as far as these stocks are concerned and is having better situation, is showing progress as far as these stocks are concerned. And however they slide down noticeably when these stocks and conditions deteriorate. Duration, a recession they do overly, and when we are at the downward situation, when we are at here, जब हम इस सिचुएशन पे आते हैं, we can say that they reply poorly, and poor economic situation can be indicated over here. और ये वो सिचुएशन होती है कि जब when we are declining, this show that declining and downward sloping section of this curve or the cycle or business cycle indicate that demand is falling, and demand is falling because people do not have purchasing power, or it will lead to reduce the supply. और जब supply कम हो जाती है तो definitely prices जो होती है इसके बाद बढ़ जाएंगी और demand जो होती है वो further कम हो जाती है. और यहाँ हम इस poor condition पे आ जाते हैं जहाँ dump में होते हैं, जहाँ पे हमारा level of output यहाँ पे बहुत कम होता है, output जो होता है वो बहुत low होता है, डिमांड जो होती है वो लो होती है. अगर आउटपुट हो भी और तो वो चूंकि फर्म्स कैन नॉट पे, और इफ देयर इज आउटपुट तो इट विल बी द पार्ट ऑफ द इन्वेंट्री. तो ये इन्वेंट्री में होता है और ये आइडियल पड़ा रहता है, कैन नॉट बी सोल्ड. और जब ये सेल नहीं हो सकता तो वी कैन से इट इज यूजलेस, इट हैज नो positive effect on the economic condition, and that is why we can say that there is no demand, there is purchasing power of the individuals and producers and consumers is very low, and recession emerged, and this situation indicate that we are having recession, and recession is basically the situation which indicate that economy is performing very badly, and there is no demand, there are no jobs, and there are no basically the earning opportunities available to the individuals and to the consumers. The term cyclical does not imply that these stocks are more predictable than other categories. So the term cyclical does not show that these stocks are more predictable and the other stocks they are not. But the reason is that we can say that they are indicating a cycle, they are indicating fluctuations. Sometimes they are showing positive fluctuations, sometimes they are showing negative fluctuations. We have two terms, one term is peak term and the second term is pivot term. And continuing with the similar cyclical stock, we can say that cyclical stocks are known as cyclical because they follow business cycle trends, and the trends as the business cycle follow, and the business cycle follow the trends. It shows sometimes it shows positive trends, sometimes shows negative trends, and sometimes it is at peak level, sometimes it is at the recession or in depression situation. And the examples of these stocks can be industrial chemical, construction industry and automobile producers. We can say that basically the cyclical trends, they are followed by the chemicals produced which are produced and sold by and supplied by the industries, and the construction material which is provided by the construction industry, and automobile parts which are provided by the automobile producers. Sometimes they are in boom and showing the recovery moving in upward direction, and at other time they indicate downfall and they are in the depression situation. And the reason can be because sometimes the people are likely to purchase more of these, their demand will be high, production will be high, and this situation will be prosperous. And on the other hand, when there is downfall in their demand and people are less likely to purchase them, to demand them, supply will go down, and the other problems and other macroeconomic problems, they will emerge in the economy. And we can say that these stocks and these categories and these items in this category, they follow the cyclical situation. Then we have another important type of the stocks which are known as defensive stocks. Defensive stocks, they are basically synonymous and minus protective stocks. These are those which are opposite to cyclical stocks. We can say they are the difference of synonymous stocks and the protective stock, and they they are different from the cyclical stock. These stocks shift little in price movement and are very rarely of interest to speculators. So we can say that they shift little in price movements, and there are very small price fluctuations as far as these are concerned, and these stocks are concerned. That is why these are known as defensive stocks, and they are very rarely interest to the speculators. Speculators do not like them and do not are likely to choose them as a part of their portfolio. This is so because as far as the speculators are concerned, they purchase any item when they have a very low level price, and they sell them that price is rising or is likely to at the peak reach at the peak level. So speculators basically वो इस मौके में रहते हैं. They look for the opportunity when they are able to extract maximum and earn maximum benefit out of their investment, and they purchase at the time when the prices are at low level, and they sell at the price when prices are at high level. Therefore we can say they are more likely to follow, and they are more likely to buy the stocks which are basically following the cyclical trend or the business cycle trend rather than defensive stock items. The defensive stock items have low betas and thus are assigned to the stock with low risk. So what we can say that these basically have low betas, and low value of betas indicate that these are not the different factors. They are not very much responsive to the purchase of defensive stock. And in other words, we can say that low value of beta indicate that the variable with which this particular value of beta is concerned, for example, it can be income, they are not likely to have very good response to the changes in these independent variable or the income. So we can say that these defensive stocks and the purchase and demand for these stocks is not very much responsive to the fluctuations in the income level of the consumer and the investor, and are thus assigned to the stocks with low risk, and therefore we can say that these are those stocks which have very low risk and held by long-term investors seeking stability. These stocks frequently resist selling pressure in a falling market. Therefore we can say that because these are known as defensive type of stock, and when we look at the behavior and attitude of long-term investors, those who are likely to invest for a long time period, and these stocks basically resist selling price in selling stocks in a time when the prices are falling. So we can say that the defensive stock, because they do not follow a trend of the cyclical flow and cyclical trend, and are in other words we can say that they do not follow the business cycle, and we can say that they resist the pressure of sale in the time when the prices are falling. So rather than they would like to seek to purchase at the level when the prices are at low level, and then they start rising, but they are still at low level. The best example of defensive stock are food companies, tobacco companies, and alcohol companies and utility. So because they are defensive type of stock, these basically are linked with the goods and with the companies which are likely to be invested directly, and they are likely to be consumed directly, and these definitely includes alcohol and food items and the tobacco and the other utilities which are likely to give the consumer the direct utility and direct satisfaction out of their consumption, and these are known as defensive stock. The other defensive products include cosmetics, drugs, and healthcare products. So what the other important products in the defensive product and stocks are concerned, they are termed as cosmetics, they include drugs, they include healthcare products, and because these are those which follow a defensive type of behavior. They continue to sell their product regardless of the changes in macroeconomic indicators. So we can say that they sell their products regardless of changes in the macroeconomic variable. Whenever there are fluctuations in macroeconomic variable, they do not have any type of they do not continue to sell, and in other words we can say that their choices as far as sale is concerned are not very much respective to the macroeconomic indicators, are not very much responsive to the to the fluctuations in the macroeconomic environment. Then we have another important type of the stocks in which stocks category in which investors they can invest and they can earn a lot out of investment in them. They are known as growth stocks. And what are these growth stocks and how they can be defined? They are basically synonymous and minus performance stock, and they are stock of the corporation. So we can say that when we have more than one investor in our corporation, in other words we can say when we have shareholders, and the growth stocks are the stocks which are basically purchased by and they are preferred by those investors who are shareholders and who have formulated a corporation, and whose existing and projected earnings are sufficiently positive to indicate. And what we can say that these growth stocks are the stocks whose earnings are positive to indicate. They can be positively indicated, they show positive trend, they show higher trend, and in other words, in simple words, we can say that they have reasonable earnings. And appreciable and constant increase in the stock market value over the extended time period. And in other words, we can say the earnings of these can be appreciated, and they face a constant increase in the stock and in the market value of the stock they have kept in their portfolio over some specific or extended time period. And in simple words, we can say that they basically are likely to choose those stocks, they are likely to choose those categories which have been showing a positive trends in their income, which have been showing a positive increase in their income over the specific time period. The rate of increase in the market value for those stocks is larger than that of most corporate stock. And what is the importance of their portfolio holdings? What is the importance of the categories of stocks which they have chosen and they have decided to purchase to keep in their portfolio is that the rate of increase in the market value of their stocks and their chosen stock is larger than that of the market value of the most corporate stock. And this is very much important point, and that should be noticed that that how they can increase their level of earning and how they can decide to increase and how their choices about the categories of the stock to keep in their portfolio are likely to determine their level of earnings, their level of income and economic status. Income stocks pay out a relatively high percentage of their earnings as dividend, but growth stock do not. So how we can compare these two types of stocks? One is income stock, and we can say that income stock pay out high percentage of their earnings as dividend than those who are belonging to the earning stock, who are shareholders in the income stock. They basically receive and they get a high percentage of their earning as dividend. Their stocks are so capable to enable them to purchase a lot of money as a dividend, lot of income as a dividend out of their income. But growth stock do not, because growth stock they do not indicate a sharp increase in the rate of the stock. That is why they do not provide and they do not distribute a larger quantity of money as a dividend. Instead, the company reinvests its earning into profitable investment opportunities, and therefore we can say what happens that as compared to the growth stock, the company should take interest to reinvest their earnings in the profitable investment opportunities. Once they have earning, they should purchase the profitable stocks, and they should invest in the profitable opportunities in order to generate more income, in order to optimize their buying behavior and decision behavior. These opportunities are that are expected to increase the value of the firm. Therefore, the value of the firm stock increases. So, what we can say as far as the final decision making of the individual investor and the company is concerned, that they should, when they have earnings and when they have dividend out of their existing investments and existing capital stock, they should reinvest their earnings in some other stock and which are valuable and whose expected value is likely to increase. And we can say when the stocks which the firms has purchased, when their value is likely to increase, definitely the value of the firm stock is likely to increase, and this is likely to increase the economic status of the firm and the financial situation of the firm. So at the end, what happens? At the end, the firm will be able to hold a quite reasonable stock of जो है reasonable stock of investment and reasonable investment and categories of investment in order to further improve their economic status and the economic situation. Continuing with the discussion, many firms have never paid a dividend and publicly state they have no plan to do so. And by default, it seems that these should be a growth stocks because a stock that pays no dividend and does not increase in value would not be a very attractive investment. And what the objective here is, the objective of the firm is to maximize the benefit and should not invest in the stocks which are not giving any type of dividend or the growth in dividend. And we can say that the firms, many firms which have never paid a dividend and they plans to and they have no plan to pay the dividend in terms of supplying different securities and stocks to the investors, to the buyers. Such type of stocks are not favorable and not preferable by the firms and the investors, and they will definitely not invest their money in such stocks. Though the analysts and the experienced investors themselves spend the time trying to discover little known growth stocks. And then we have another very important type of the investment category, which is known as speculative stocks. Speculative stocks are the stocks issued by the relatively new firms of unproven financial status and by firms with less than average financial strength. So how we can basically define the firms who are demanding and who are buyer of the speculative stocks? We can say that these are those firms which are newly entered in the market and whose financial status is not still approved, and these are the firms with less average financial strength. ये ऐसी firms हैं जिनकी financial strength जो है वो बहुत कम है, उनका financial status जो है वो इतना अच्छा नहीं है, and they have basically proven a less than average financial strength, और ये new firms है. Speculative by definition involves a short time period horizon, and the stocks are those that have a potential to make their owners a lot of money quickly. And what the speculation is, what is the importance of the speculation is that these are short time period stock, that these stocks are held for short time period, not for the longer time period stocks. And another important objective and the advantage of these stocks is that they create and they generate a lot of potential money to the owner of the stocks, and in a very small time and quickly. In other words, that speculative stock, they earn a lot of money to the individual stockholder, and with very in very short time and very quickly. At the same time, though they carry an unusual high degree of risk. And how we can say that the speculators, they earn a high level of money, they can earn high stock of money within limited time, within short time, is that they basically carry their stocks, and these are the category of the stocks which the speculator is likely to purchase because they involve and they are linked with the higher level of income and higher level of earning which they can earn out of the investment. But besides higher level of income, higher level of risk is also associated, and this is the definition of the investment in portfolio holdings, that whenever we have high returns, we have high risk associated as well, and the stocks and securities and items which are high earning giving, they are basically more risky, and individual will have to take the risk if he or she wants to purchase more high earning giving assets. Some analysts consider speculative stocks to be most risky growth stocks, and speculative stocks, although their value increases over time and the investor is likely to purchase them when they are at low level of the price, or they are showing low price in the market, which is a sort of the risk, and they purchase at that level, and they will try and decide to sell at the level when the prices are at very high level, and therefore we can say it is much more risky type of investment, that when the prices are at a very low level and they are likely to they continue to observe the situation, and they continue to observe the point at which they are likely to purchase their assets. So we can say because the price is at very low level, so it may happen that they may think that the price may not rise. If the price is not likely to rise in the near future, that it will be definitely, it will harm this type of investment, will create a loss for the individual investor. Then we have another important type of the stock which is known as penny stock. And what is the penny stock? However, some new established technological companies that paid no dividend and had short history would probably be considered speculative rather than a growth stock. And these what we can say, that those who have paid very small dividend and those who have very short history of their existing, they would definitely not pay a very good dividend to the individual speculator. Penny stocks are low priced issues and often highly speculative, selling at very small price a share. And this may be the important characteristics of the penny stock, that they may be sold at very low price, and they are often followed by the speculators. Thus, such stocks could not afford even for the investors with small amounts of money. And the categories of the stocks presented above are not really mutually exclusive. And continuing with the discussion, we can say that as an example, show some blue chip stocks at the same time can be as income stock. Category for the strategies for investing in stocks. We have to discuss here that what are the strategies for investment in the stock, that what methodology and what techniques we should adopt in order to invest in the stock. We focus on basically three main types of strategies for investing in stock. And what are the three main type of strategies and categories? First is sector rotation and business cycle strategy. That is an important strategy that we have a little bit discussed now. And second is market timing strategy. What is market timing strategy? We will know here. And value screening strategy. What is value screening strategy? These are three important type of the strategies, are the categories for investment in the stock. What is sector rotation? Sector rotation and business cycle strategy, they are of almost similar nature. The essentiality of this strategy, the importance of this strategy. In other words, we can say that what is the significance of this strategy. Each economic factor has potential investment project, and we can say each economic sector has an objective to have investment potential, that besides having economic worth, besides having economic facilities and earnings, the potential investment is very much important to keep by the firms as an objective. These basically sector rotation has a specific pattern of market prices which depend on the phase of the economic burden. So what we can say, that what are these specific rotation and sector rotation? These are basically specific prices of market. Specific pattern of market prices. We can say that market prices, they follow a specific pattern in their trend and specific type of fluctuations, and which these fluctuations are, these depend upon the phase of the economic cycle. Economic cycle के ऊपर इनकी phase है वो depend करती है. And sector rotation and business cycle studies intend the movement of invested funds from one sector to the other depending upon changes in economic fluctuations. We can say that since this sector rotation has specific relationship and has specific pattern of the market prices, we depend upon the phase of economic cycle, and this is very much important as a potential investment. And business cycle, what it tells us, it indicates the specific pattern of a systematic pattern of the market prices of the stocks which the investor is likely to hold. For example, we can say that when the prices they are showing an increase and then reaches a peak level and then show a downfall and reaches a minimum level. So we can say we have the four pattern. One, second is peak, third is downfall, and fourth one is depression. So we can say this definitely cycle will continue for some time period and will follow similar trends. First is recovery, second is peak value, third one is the downfall in the situation and the downfall in the demand for investment in particular portfolio stock, and then we see that investor reaches the minimum level, which is known as depression or recession. So we can say that market prices are the stock which is kept as a market prices. They follow an important pattern upon the phase of the economic cycle and on the pattern of the economic cycle. And discussing the strategies for investment in stocks, we continue our discussing sector rotation and the investment in business cycle strategy. So this business cycle intends the movement of invested funds from one sector to the other sector depending upon changes in the economic condition. So we can say that the basically intention to about the movement of the funds but one sector to the other sector depends upon changes in the economic condition, and that is when the funds which are invested, they shift from one sector to the other sector. The reason behind is because this is the business cycle, and individuals, they are likely to choose this business cycle. This strategy uses the classification of all stock traded in the market on the basis of their behavior in regard to business cycle. So we can say that this is important type of classification or category of investment in the stocks traded in the market because it is based on their behavior in relation to the business cycle. The strategies for investment in the stock. What are the strategies for investment in the stocks? And the following groups are identified. First one is known as defensive stock. Second is interest sensitive stock. Third is consumer durable. Third is capital stock. At the end of this is basically the end of the category and discussion about the categories, and end of the 2 days lecture. At the end, I will give the summary of all the discussion that we have done over here. And basically here we are analyzing the stock and how we can invest in the stock, what is the portfolio, and what can be the analysis of the items which we are going to keep in the portfolio. Price earning ratio is very much important as far as decision making about the investment in the stock is concerned, and we discussed different type of the categories of the stock and what these categories are. These are blue chip category of the stock, investment stock, cyclical stock, defensive stock, growth stock, speculative, and penny stock. And we also said that what is observed price earning ratio, that what we actually observed, we have to make the situation clear what the price earning ratio we actually have and what we are going to have, and what we should have, what we are likely to have actually in actual situation, and what it should be according to the intrinsic worth. And basically this is analyzed by the analyst. And PER steric is equal to V over PEPS not. This basically tells us that what the price earning ratio should be is equal to intrinsic worth of the stock and divided by EPS, earning per share price of the last work. However, we might consider that PER that should apply to the firm. It can be applied to the firm, to the group of firms, basically the objective is to estimate the stock value. So we can estimate the stock value, which tells us that what the stock should be, and it should be in line with the examined firms selected for the industry on average. And continuing with discussion about the decision making for investment, we can say that if PER steric, which is normative, price earning ratio is greater than PER in actual, we can say the value is underestimated. So secondly, we can say when PER steric is less than PER, so we can say that this is decision. Here we have the decision to sell the stock, and in the first case we have the decision to buy the stock. Here we have the decision to sell the stock because it is overvaluated. And then we have the equality between what the normative PER and what is the actual PER. There is normality because because the stock is evaluated at same rate in the market. And this is all that we have done as far as the the PER are concerned. PER basically are synthetic measure combining all effects of the different equity values. And what PER is decreasing, then the risk of the firm is increasing. If PER is decreasing, the risk is decreasing. Interest rates are also inversely correlated with the PER, because PER increases then the risk जो है वो decrease करता है. Other alternative multiples used for this valuation by the investor are the sales per market capitalization of the firm, sales per equity value, and market capitalization and book value of the equity ratio. And these alternative multiples are basically used when earnings are not representative. So we use these alternative multiples, and we can say that the high growth firms are the examples which have negative income, negative EPS, and the actual stock price. When we have three multiples that PER asterisk should apply to the firm of which the stock value has to be estimated should be in line with peer firms selected for this purpose. Or we can say that there are examples in the formation and management of the stock portfolio, and we should focus on the categories of the common stock, and especially the investment characteristics, and which make some stock suitable to the one investor or the portfolio and the other to the other. So we have a number of the PER which are known as blue chip stocks, income stocks, cyclical and defensive, and growth and speculative, and penny ratio. And among them, blue chip is known as best of all and very much important of all. And we have done this. We can say that all these are very much important categories in which we can keep our stocks in different categories of the stock. And today, with the today's discussion, we will continue our discussion, and we can say that that these are very much important types of the stocks and categories of the stock with which we can make the profitable and earning giving investment. And I hope that you will be able to understand the concepts, and you will be able to make your concepts clear and ideas clear as far as the discussion is concerned, and in the light of these slides and in the light of the reading material available. We will continue inshallah in next lecture, and take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.